me on Vatican live streaming. So let's discuss about the issue of insecurity. Please kindly call them with this phone number on the stream. Kindly call him. Just permit me, let me share the stream because we were doing the live streaming on the other side, but the software I'm using to stream is was disturbing. So I needed to end the stream and start a new one over here, and that is what we are doing right now. So kindly help me to share it. Join me, and you can call in through the phone number on the stream there so that you can tell me. Now, for those of you who didn't talking about the issue of insecurity in Nigeria. Now, the Zamfara governor, that is the incumbent governor of Zamfara state, so he is exposing so many things that have been going on in Zamfara state and in Nigeria as well. So a lot of things has been going on over there. So we wish to really support the governor. We wish to really, expose so many things that the governor is saying. The person who he said that is sponsoring the bandits, the terrorism in Nigeria, is someone who is under Tinubu's administration. He is the Minister of the State of Defense. So what are we doing about all these things? Someone is here exposing the insecurity, telling you who is sponsoring it, telling you everything. What are we doing about it? And a lot of people are still keeping quiet. A lot of people are just keeping quiet as if nothing is going on. So that is what we have been discussing in my previous live broadcast. The governor said a lot of things. He said that the Minister of Defense of State Matawale is a bandit, that he was even harboring some bandits in government house in what is it called? In Zamfara state. So I'm just asking question, is Nigeria just a normal place? I'm not even talking only about the government. I'm still talking about the people. Are we just the normal people that will continue to see so many things and we still fold our hands as if nothing is going on? Actually, something is going on. Something is absolutely wrong with everything about our nation. An incumbent governor came. The incumbent governor came, and the incumbent governor is telling us that look at what is going on, Everybody just keeping quiet, that a minister is sponsoring terrorism. Anyway, let's receive some calls over here. You can call in through this phone number that I pinned on the comment section. Hello.
Hello, Mr. Okocha.
Good. I think, yeah, it is still good evening. Good evening over here. Good evening, sir. Thanks for joining us.
Good evening, Mr. Okocha. I haven't seen you online for a long time.
It has been long. Actually, it has been long. Even today, I was streaming with the streaming software. I was live on the other side, but the network, whether it's network.
I was following you when you switch over.
Okay. I needed to just come to direct Vatican live because I don't really know what was happening. Whether someone is reporting my account, I don't know, but he's just trying to off. So I needed to switch over here. Thank you for joining us.
Yes, you already know who it is. This is Mr. Bosco coming from Georgia.
Yeah, Mr. Bosco from Georgia.
Yes. Okocha, honestly, you're doing a very, very fantastic job. With a clean mind and clean heart. It's not all these brown envelope journalists who have in Nigeria. You say it exactly how it is. I like the way you hammer. You speak the truth, bros. No need to even try to, hold words. You're saying it just the way it is.
Thank you. I don't have option.
Yeah, of course. Let me tell you something, my brother. You see the issue of Nigeria, it gives a whole lot of headache. It's when you remember, that's a nation. If you remember that contraction, you just get sick inside of you. Everything. There is one guy that used to broadcast in Radio Biafra, and then there was a post he made today. He just put it on his Facebook wall. This is when corruption started in Nigeria, was even through Ahmed Bello and the rest of them. That was in 1945. In 1945, that is when their shenanigan of stealing and all these things started. So it has been there for long, not today. So let me tell you honestly, my brother, the issue of Nigeria is a very simple one. You see, this guy, Adedeji, or I don't know if I pronounce it well, what he says in his speech is very, very correct. You know, he didn't mix words. These guys are thieves. They are criminals. And the only way, like we have been saying, is a bloody revolution. We don't need no peaceful revolution in that country. We need a bloody revolution to chase all these criminals away. If not, Nigeria can never. And the one thing that kind of pisses me off so much is, even though in this hardship that we are dealing with now in Nigeria, some of them, or most of them, or the politicians, they are still thinking about 2027.
That is what they are just thinking, next election.
Yes, exactly. We do not even know if Nigeria will still exist by 2027. But most of them, we don't even know if they're going to be alive or not. We are talking about the president, what to deal with what is going on right now in the country. Are you guys talking about 3 years from now? Like, are they really serious? You see, one thing again that kind of pisses me off a lot when some of these guys speak like that, and then Joe was saying, what he said was right, but why is it that they cannot come out clean and say, okay, this country is not working. Let us do a referendum and break this country up. Why is it so hard for them to say? Why? Because it's very clear in the eyes of everybody, Nigeria is not working. Nigeria can never work. Nigeria is irredeemable. Nobody on this earth can fix that country. There is this thing this guy you showed. I saw his this thing posted yesterday.
Dele Farotimi. Okay.
No, Dele Faroti and Lumumba or Mulumba. His name. I don't know how you pronounce his name.
Okay, Piendo Lumumba. Yeah.
Yes. You see, the problem I have with that man, I've always been saying it, is this: he speaks very, very well. He speaks very nice about African leaders, about their corruption. Yes, I understand that. But he knows that there's a lot of corruption going on in Nigeria, knowing that the country is in turmoil. He knows that there's ethnic problems going on. I don't know why he cannot just come out and say, okay, hey, Nigeria, from the way it is, it's a very big country. It seems like you guys are not getting along. There's so many ethnic groups in Nigeria that are not getting along. Why can't you guys just come and divide this country, through peaceful means, through a referendum? And again, is he going to tell me, the man in question, haven't you heard about Nnamdi Kanu? Haven't you heard about him that he's been imprisoned justly? Why can't he speak about that? Sometimes when I see some of them speaking on the TV, I don't even pay attention to them because I look at them, all of them are all same to me. Nnamdi Kanu has been in persecution for the past 3 years. Nobody seems to talk about him. Everything Nnamdi Kanu said about Nigeria, is it not what has happened and is still happening? Why can't they understand that this country is not working and it will never work? That the only solution is to peacefully divide that country, so that all this life people are losing, it will come to an end. Nigeria cannot work. And I was listening to this man, this Zamfara governor. When you look at the way he's speaking, he seems to be a very serious, honest man, but it's just that politicians, I don't trust them.
And the issue I'm seeing there is that they will not even allow him to finish his tenure.
No, they're not going to allow him because, they hate the truth. The present government right now hate the truth. Honestly, Okocha, even here in abroad, I won't lie to you, man. I hate to be identified as. If somebody calls me a Nigerian, I almost want to curse that person out. When we used to play soccer every weekend here, one guy heard me speaking Igbo once. I was like, "Oh, bros, I didn't even know you're Nigerian." I'm like, "Who told you I'm a Nigerian? Who told you I'm a Nigerian?"
He knows now. You are speaking Igbo now, so.
I'm speaking Igbo. Okay, I'm speaking Igbo. Does it make me a Nigerian? No, I'm a Biafra. Yes, I'm carrying a Nigerian passport. That's what I'm having. You understand? So the truth of the matter is this, my brother. The work you're doing is very good. You're sanitizing our people back home. For them to understand that this country is not working, you have to keep doing it the way you're doing it. Keep hammering. Hopefully, one day everybody's going to come out and face it reality and know that, you know what, this country is not working. The best way is to divide the country. Let us split this country.
Mr. Bosco, you made a statement the other day. You said you wish that the Nigerian government will continue to make mistakes.
It's not I wish. I say it's my prayer. I pray it everyone. I say, God, please keep allowing these people to keep making mistakes so that the world will see how useless Nigeria is. So the more mistakes they make, the more closer to disintegration of that country. That's my prayer every day.
Yes. Now, you see what I'm seeing today now in Nigeria. A lot of people, before, when you talk about the country is not working, they say shut up. Now, those people are the one who are now saying there is hunger, nothing is working. No, I say no, we have not started. I want Tinubu to make more mistakes. He just increased fuel price, right? It has not started.
Yes.
The food product is now following the fuel price. Everything we see skyrocket. We are going to December. We are going close to December. Calm down. This government will continue to make mistakes that we make.
And again, there's an intel. Somebody was telling, I was listening to somebody today. He said there's an intel on the 23rd, 24th, 25th of March. Nnamdi Kanu supposed to appear. Now, they said the 4 or the 5 governors, what they did, because IPOBs are everywhere. Have what they call M branch. They are everywhere. So there was an intel as of today. I was listening to the broadcast on BTV. So the guy reviewed, because the guy used to work with the military, Nigerian military before, for so many years until he left the military, and now he lives in overseas. So he gave the intel today that we should not expect anything between the 24th, 25th, 26th. That's now the governors met, and then they met with the governor with the government or whatever. And then out of the 4 or 5 governors, all of them brought money. Okay, he mentioned the Enugu State governor. He mentioned the Umahi. He mentioned the other guy, Wiki. And then this guy again, Sowore. That's that man, the governor of Sowore. So they all brought money and gave to the government and said, you know what? We don't want him to be released. Keep him till March of 2025. As of today, he was talking about I just got demoralized. He said unless with the intel that's been given out right now, maybe they might come up and then change their plan. But he said nothing is going to come out of it, that they're going to extend it till March of 2025. I just got pissed off all throughout today. I don't know what to say, my brother. I don't even know what else to say.
Till March 2025.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes.
Oh, my goodness. So what do you think people should do? Because, people will get angry if justice is not dispensed. And I don't really know what will happen from October 1st.
This is what they're doing. They're trying to provoke IPOB. That's what they're trying to do. All this they're doing, they're trying to provoke IPOB so that we can, do one thing, maybe try to carry on or whatever. That might lead to maybe murdering him or whatsoever, you know what I mean? So IPOB is peaceful, and the leadership that are in charge of this IPOB, this thing right here, they've been meeting some diplomats or whatever, doing their diplomatic meetings or whatever, which of course they're not telling us. So as it stands right now, if we had wanted to, if they want, IPO, we don't want, to be honest with you, we don't want to go violent. We don't want to go in the violent way. That's why we just keep insisting on referendum. But the way they're going about it, they're really pushing IPOB so that we can do something stupid or whatever, and then something else is going to happen. So I don't know what to tell. Honestly, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to tell you. I just feel like, I don't know, man. I just don't know. I don't know. I really don't know. They just got to let that man go. I don't know how. I don't know why they. That's this government. I don't know, my brother Okocha. It's really getting serious and getting annoying every day. Each time, and let me tell you something. Each time his court date gets closer, all these useless people or whatever, they come out and start causing a whole lot of killings in the unrest in the southern part, in the east. We know who the people that are doing that. We know them already. We know them, but they will answer to their deeds when the time comes. They will very, very soon. So, Okocha, my brother, all I'm just trying to say in effect is, Nigeria, we know it's a very corrupt country. It's not working. It will never work. The only thing we can basically do is a total disintegration. That's the only thing that's going to save us from there. Other than that, or a bloody revolution, bloody revolution. But Nigerian youths, Can they have a bloody revolution? I doubt it. Because some people will start in the north and they say if you start it in the maybe in the north or whatever, they're like maybe people in the west will say they're not part of it. If you start it in the east, the people from the west will say they're not part. So that is the reason why it's very hard to have a bloody revolution. I don't even know, man.
You know, a lot of people are afraid of what has besieged them. People are afraid to die, and people are dying every day. People are afraid to go hunger, and people are hungry every day. People are afraid that government will deal with them, and government is dealing with us every day.
Dealing with them.
Until we put the fear at our back and face the reality, we can never even see air to breathe. These people are suffocating us, but the reverse is supposed to be the case. We are supposed to be suffocating them. That is how it's supposed to be, my brother.
Exactly.
So thank you so much for your time and everything. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, my brother, Coach. Keep up with the good work, okay?
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
All right.
All right. All right. I saw some questions. Can I join you live? I'm not using a streaming software. I just switched to Vatican Live. You can use this WhatsApp number to call me, only WhatsApp call live, and join me in conversation. I will really appreciate that. So let's have our next caller. Hello. Hello.
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, sir. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, this is Erasmus calling from the US.
Thanks for joining us, sir. How is US?
The US is fine.
All right.
I say I have been watching your series, and I wonder where you get mine. All those series when you review.
You know, I'm just like a speaker. I am not the one who said those things. I am just letting people to know what is going on. And I think there is no fear towards that.
Yeah, you are doing the right thing, and God will protect you.
Amen.
Now, you see, obviously, all these things, we don't already talk about all this while. All these things that you have been revealing now, that you have been playing, it's not as if you are revealing it because they have always been there.
Yes.
People did not just realize it. Now, but I've watched most of these series, but there is a very salient question. When I think part of one of the videos you made, you were asking the question, but you never see put the answer out there.
What was the question?
No, I'm going there. Now, the question is, all these things when they put together, the Kuje prison. Remember, when the Kuje prison issue happened, we were part of the people that said it was not prison break, it was not terrorist break.
It was masterminded.
It was masterminded by the government itself. And it was part of a deal to free. Because you remember that time, I think they trained people they kidnapped. So it was a deal they did. So, because how do you explain in the federal capital territory that bandits will use Okadas? How many reasons we invade the whole federal capital territory? We have the police, we have the military, we have the navy, we have the air force, we have the civil defense. There was no confrontation. So we knew that it was planned. Now the question is, all these things happening, and now one of those terrorists, that was the memo we saw. Others may have, they have been freed.
Others are coming. I'm bringing others.
Okay, now I want you to look at, just listen to something. They set that person free, which means that the person is not actually a terrorist. He's actually doing what they want. Now, look at Buhari's regime. Buhari came in, people say, Buhari did not do well. No, Buhari did well. Buhari did what he came in to do. They came in to change structure, just like Ekpa. That they change the structure, arrange everything, make sure we now lay the background for a Muslim president and vice president now. Now, Matawale is on the other side doing some things. All these bandits that you are seeing, all these terrorists that you are seeing, all of them, it's the same purpose. Remember that this Zamfara State President Governor told you that they know them, that they are part of them, that they know their houses. Now the question will be, what is so special that they are doing
that the elites, their political elites are covering them. That leads you to the video I sent to you. I don't know if you have watched that video well. The video of Commodore Olawumi, that 51-minute Channels video, Channels, I sent that video for you. The answers to the question are in that video. The intention, because the thing is that all this thing that is happening, why we people be killing people all, be buying people all around, and people are protecting them. What is the purpose? What for? It is Islamization agenda. Islamization agenda. You cannot dodge it. That is the purpose. What they are doing, all of them are working together for a singular purpose. Islamization agenda. Go and listen to Commodore Olawumi. You will get the answer there. And that is why people like us, remember when I was telling you that I am not interested in restructuring, because the restructuring is not going to change this agenda, this program. That's the reason. It's not marginalization. I'm not supporting Biafra because of marginalization. Because of this dangerous thing that is going to go and listen to, go and watch Commodore Olawumi, somebody who has spent 35 years in intelligence, military intelligence, in NIA, DIA, DSS. He will tell you, because they asked him specifically, what is the end game? Go and listen, go and watch it very well. He said there are people who have sat down, who have looked at what happened in Afghanistan, and Muhajirs, I mean what he called them, that they think, is it not possible to actually replicate it in Nigeria? Let's do it. They asked it like 2 times. Go and watch it. That's where the answer lies. And that's why they are protecting them. It is an agenda. And the only solution to that agenda is to break away from Nigeria so that they can continue with the agenda there. That's just the truth. Thank you.
Thank you so much, my brother. Thank you so much. All right. What we are talking about this evening is all about the insecurity situation in Nigeria. How the Zamfara state governor, the incumbent governor, is exposing so many things that is going on, including in Tinubu's regime. So it's so pathetic that Nigerians are keeping quiet while people are planning against us. It's so pathetic, and we are not going to leave any table unturned. Let's have our next caller. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah. Good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Brother Okocha. My name is Chris. I'm calling from UK.
Mr. Chris from UK. Good morning. Thanks for joining us, sir.
Yes.
How is UK?
Yeah. First of all, I want to thank you for your consistency and for your good work.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Can you hear me, right?
Yeah, I can hear you very well.
Yeah, good. So obviously, a lot is going on in Nigeria. A lot has been going on. But for me, it's very, very painful, the fact that everything happening, just like the last caller was saying, these are things that has been out there for everybody, anybody with even half brain to know the end game, the big picture, the real agenda. But it beats my imagination that, I don't know, is it that this proponent of this Islamization, over the years, they've beaten the Nigerian people so much so that the level of fear has become palpable. It's like you can even touch it, you can feel it. The level of fear, or that Nigerian people have become so, either whether not juju or poison, I don't know. Because it's so, look, okay, I don't even know where to start, but obviously everything just points to that. Let me give you some instances. This Jiga, I think his name here, Jiga, the former INEC chairman.
Yes.
He was one of the people that reached out Jonathan and brought in Buhari, that paved the way for what is going on now. Now, this same Jiga, Tinubu has appointed him into a commission to look into farmers and whatever. And he came out to say that this open grazing, which the southern governors has not only condemned, they banned it and they decreed that it should be banned, but it never worked because the people that owns Nigeria, that runs Nigeria, like El-Rufai and the rest of them, they told them that it will not work. 5 years, 6 years down the line, it hasn't worked. The cartels are still roaming about, eating everybody, killing people. So this Jega told the Tinubu, after the commission that they set up, that this open grazing, in other words, should continue side by side with ranching. You know that in other words, the ranching would be a long-time project, but the short-term project is that the open grazing should continue. And we all know the agenda of the open grazing. I tell you, as a man who understands these things, I've studied it all. I knew everything concerning the agenda of these people. That open grazing is one way for them to implant these Fulani from the Sahel region who has come into Nigeria. So as they are killing and sending people into IDP camp, they will occupy their land, and these people they sent to IDP camp will remain there, and the military, the Nigerian security agencies will not come in to drive out the marauders, those who drive them out and bring them back. No, they just let them continue. So this is one of the agenda. Another thing, you can hear me, right?
Yeah, right on.
Yeah, another agenda, because they have so many avenues. You know, they've seen Nigerian people as people who they've lost their mind, they've lost their courage, they lost everything. So anything they say has to be done. Because like I said, everybody is crying about this open grazing, the menace that open grazing is causing, the buying, and the everything that open grazing is. But because they are the people who want it, Fulanis, nobody can stop it, nobody can come against it. Not even the government, because the government there, Tinubu is following the instruction that was laid to him by the Fulanis that run Nigeria on behalf of the British. Now, I'll give you one other example. Abdul Salami, you know Abdul Salami, the former head of state.
Yeah.
This guy, in the past, one of his helicopters was caught transporting the bandits in the north.
Are you serious?
He didn't know. Yes, everything is my brother. Not me today, Nigeria will start to, but the Nigerian people just be like people when they don't destroy, their brain is condemned already. So this man helicopter was transporting bandits in the north. When they asked him, he said that they rented it, but he didn't know for what it was for. It's pure lie. It's called takia in Islam. They lie to you all the time, and they deliberately lie to you. And do you know that this same guy, this same Abdul Salami, in 1999, was the one that created this current constitution that is destroying Nigeria. This constitution that brings about Sharia law in the north without consultation, without referendum, without the opinion of the Nigerian people. They put Sharia law in the northern state. I think about 11 or 12 northern states. That you as a Christian, if you do something in the north, sometimes you didn't even do anything, they try you, they use the Sharia to try you, and we saw it, what they did to Deborah, they stoned her to death, and there are other people that they are not even Muslim, they tried them under Sharia law in the north. This same Abdul Salami was the one that created it as against the Nigerian secular constitution, which in the first place means that they've even divided the country, because Nigeria from the beginning was a secular state from the origin. So, and the constitution explicitly say that no other religious or whatever constitution shall, come into play. But because they are the people that own the country, they run it, based on the agreement that they have with British. Everything they propose, they push it through, and the people have become so coward that they can't stand, they can't even ask questions. So this same Abdul Salami, another tactics that is applying now, which is another takia. I don't know if you heard about takia, is that for some years, maybe even 10 years now, whenever there's election, either presidential election, governmental election, whatever, he comes with a book. He call it peace accord. He wants you to sign peace accord. The purpose is that when you sign this peace accord, then obviously they will rig the election and put their person, and you cannot make trouble because you sign peace accord. Rather, they will tell you to go to court. And when you go to court, they already arrange the court. They run the court. They own the court, like they did in Imo State with Opozorema. From 4th, They rig it, they put him from 4th to number 1, and he's been there since ever, doing their bidding for them. That is part of that Islamization. So this Abdul Salami you are seeing, these are the prominent Islamic Islamization proponent. That is what they are. They are him, Abdul Salami, the Sultan, and the Matawale. This Matawale, okay, look at this Matawale now, who is a defense guy. Not be today, apart from this Zamfara governor talking, it's not today that Matawale has been on the watch list, on the red line. The government no, but they can't do anything because they are all together in this. Now, this Matawale now is the one who has been sponsoring the bandits. He bought them trucks, bought them arms, and he's the current defense minister. Now you tell me, how can he be the one sponsoring the terrorists and at the same time the defense minister? Is any wonder why the banditry, they are getting the upper hand? They are even stronger than the Nigerian military. Because why? Look at what happened some few weeks ago when that Nigerian Envy truck was, they say it was hijacked. Exactly. So what happened is they called the bandit and they came there and they took all the ammunition. It was arranged, well planned. They came there, took all the ammunition. So the defense minister, who is their sponsor, how are they going to fight them? It's not possible because he will even be protecting them. And they know this. Yeah, Tinubu allowed him to be the defense minister. And Tinubu is aware, because they are all pushing this Islamization agenda. Late last year, David Cameron, who was former Prime Minister of Britain, was it either November, December, I can't remember exactly how time, he declared that Nigeria is an Islamic state. And when he did that, was their foreign minister under the former Prime Minister. So obviously, there is the big picture. That is what baffles me, that Nigerian people, I don't know what has happened to them, particularly Southerners. They know that the big agenda is to Islamize Nigeria. It's already been written. It's already been written down that Nigeria is, but now they are trying to slowly but surely impose it on everybody. You know, and in the South, you have Christians, you have all these Jew or whatever. They are all corrupt. They are all looking for money. When they give them money, they look away. They don't care. Look, no, it's not the sort of Adeboye the other time. There are billions and billions in, so these are the way they are buying them over and tying their hands. They can't speak, they can't talk. El-Rufai gave a contract worth billions through Adeboye to his son. That is corruption on his own. And he didn't even do it. So, my brother, that country, there's no solution. Trust me. The only solution is for us as Biafra, we have to because if we don't fight, there's no, you cannot do protest in Nigeria. It will never work. If you do revolution, except revolution that will be bloody and serious, so that, like I always say, those who will die, will die. Those who will survive, then they will live normal. Otherwise, forget it. Nigeria, because come to think about it, all these terrorists in the north, even if you bring Peter Obi to be president or bring whoever where do you think they are not going anywhere. They've come to stay. These terrorists, they have come to stay. Apart from the fact that the elite in the north, they are the ones sponsoring and championing it because they want Nigeria to become Islamic nation. There's no way these guys are going to disappear. If you put them into the military, it gets worse. They take charge. So if you recruit, my brother, that country is gone now. The early everybody wake up and smell the coffee, the better for you, because they are coming. They are coming. You cannot go to your farm. Your land will be taken over. So we cannot stand for that. So, my brother, thank you so much. And God bless you and continue to protect you.
Amen. Thank you so much for your contribution and your time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you so much, sir.
And one more thing, Okocha. Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah, you get super chat.
Yeah.
Because we feed this. We go feed I feel put small super chat for you. Now make I go or you are this thing if the thing go work because that page was disturbing. Now I had to call. So right. Yeah, that's super chat. So that we're gonna support small.
Okay, you can join the Vatican live. I'm live now on Vatican. You can join it and there will
Vatican, okay.
Yeah. There will be a button to do that. Thank you so much. I really appreciate.
All right, I'll do that. Bye.
All right, thank you so much. All right, we are still talking about the issue of the insecurity that is ravaging Nigeria, how the government are exposing themselves. It's so pathetic. Let's have another contact. Hello?
Hello, Mr. Okocha?
Yeah. Good evening, ma'am.
Oh,
good morning.
Good evening. How are you doing? Thank you. God bless you for all you do. I just want to establish, I'm a little busy now, but I just want to know I've been watching your program. This is the first time I'm having to be live.
Oh.
But I've been following you. Yes. So I just want to know your schedule, what time you come out, so that when I'm less busy, because right now I have a few things I wanted to say, but I can't because I'm kind of busy. When do you have a scheduled time you come online?
I am planning that it should be 12 midnight Nigerian time every day, but I'm setting up a studio that is a little bit taking me a longer time because I've not fully set up the studio. That is why I have not been using the time permanently. I'm supposed to be using the time 12 a.m. Nigerian time every day at midnight. That is the time I'm supposed to be using. But I think that will be a short period of time. It will be settled.
Okay, I just want to. Okay, I will just be. Keep an eye and see when you are live. But all the same, I just want to thank you.
Thank you so
for
much.
what you are doing. Please keep it up. Don't give up. This is critical. What you are doing is very critical. I have followed a lot of your postings. What you're doing, it is needed at this time.
Thank you so
when
much.
time comes, I'm going to be able to say a few things. So I just want to call to encourage you and know what time, so that I can, between my busy schedule to be live, because I want to be a part of what you're doing.
All right, noted. Okay. Thank you so much.
You.
I really appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right. Let's have another caller. Hello.
Hello, Okocha.
Yeah, I guess this is Mr. Chris from Anambra, right?
Yeah, Okocha. Good morning, happy good evening. Which one?
Hi, Anambra.
We thank God. It's been a long time. You don't always come online as usual.
Yeah. This period I was not online. Look at, I came online first around 11 o'clock today. The streaming software that I'm using was malfunctioning. I needed to come to YouTube Direct using this vertical live to speak to people. It does not mean easy, but
at the point I even thought you are no more streaming.
No, I am streaming. There is no going back.
Okay, thank God as I came across your listing today, your program, I was so happy.
Thank you so much.
Coincidental. Because for some time now, I've not been seeing you, especially live.
Yeah.
So I will let us see your streaming after you might have finished. I don't know.
Okay.
But it's not. It's no more than 12 o'clock every day.
Yes, that is what I'm saying. Is because I have not been able to set up my studio properly. That is why I've not been using that fixed time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank God. I listened to that person before this last person that spoke. For that lady. That person said exactly what I have been saying and what we have always known. All these things, everything that you see happening in Nigeria is not coincidence, it's not by accident. All these things, is well planned. Are you getting it? Even this thing we are calling hunger. All these things are well planned. You know, if you go and read on how Islam were able to take over Lebanon,
Lebanon. Same template. If you read on how they were able to take over, Afghanistan. The same templates. So all these things for them, it's not coincidence. But one thing that makes Nigeria go even more problematic, it's not just about Islam. Nigeria own is so worse that apart from Islam, where this tribalism is even playing its own role. Are you getting it? That even if all of us decide to become Islam now on our own, the thing will continue. Are you getting it? So even some people that are even joining them may be using that they are using Islam to get them now. After they have succeeded in getting that Islam, they will end up either destroying that same people. So Nigeria own is another level, because apart from Islamizing Nigeria, we are having the problem of tribalism, especially, sorry to say that, it's not as if I am against any tribe. Fulani, we know that they are foreigners. Are you getting it?
Yeah.
Usman Dan Fodio, a kind of, they see Nigeria as the only place they have that they can settle down. So apart from religion, even if all of us, just like the Hausas and some Northerners that are Islam, you find out that they are even killing their fellow Islam. You'll be wondering, just like what that governor said, that they are equally killing even fellow. So you find out, apart from Islam, that tribalism is hidden under. There are some people that, apart from Islam, they are fighting to conquer other tribes in order to install their own, to take over completely. So, and we all knows who they are. They are not from Nigeria. They imported them, their fellow brothers here that have been here, imported them from outside. So all these things that is happening now, that is why I said the only way is for us to divide, because even if we say that all of us, okay, we accept to become Islam, even without war, they will still kill us. Are you getting it? They will still kill us, hiding on that tribe. They will still kill us. So that is why our own is even more complicated. Because if it's about religion, okay, we can say, okay, religion is a thing of choice. Okay, we can decide to become Islam. But even if you become Islam, they will still kill you at the end of the day. After they have succeeded in Islamizing Nigeria, they will still hide that. You understand?
Yeah.
So that is why there is no hope, because, you know, and all these things, you see, you hear Tinubu, the time I was telling people that time, that Tinubu was saying that I will start from where Buhari stopped. Some people thought that he's talking to Nigerians. No. There are some people, he knows the people he's telling that thing. He's not talking to us Nigerians. He knows the people that decide who to rule Nigeria. They are the people he's talking to. That time he's saying I will start from where, because this thing is already planned. So that is why he keep on saying I will start from where Buhari stopped, because the plan is to enforce. Already they have Islamized Nigeria already. They have registered Nigeria as an Islamic nation. But now they want to come out fully to enforce it. And knowing that they have some Islam, after they finish with North now, the next place that they will focus on is Southerners. I mean Lagos. Go and watch out, because the reason why East it will be hard for them is that they don't have much Islam down here in the East. Are you getting it? So the reason why they are still they are still a kind of taking it easy with the South, especially Lagos and all these Yorubas, is because they have not really succeeded in capturing the whole North. If they finish with North now, I mean in the area of that Islamization, and then taking over as tribe. You know, the next place is Lagos because they have enough Muslims. They have enough Muslims to carry out their agenda in the south. So, if not that the East, all these guys that is shouting divide Nigeria, that the way they wanted to do it is that gradually, by dispatching all these Fulanis inside the bush, they will round us off. One day, after finishing with the South, they will now declare total war against the East. So, looking at it, all of us should just know there's no pretense about it. These people has an agenda, and they will always look for somebody that they will use, that will agree that their agenda. That is the people that they will be putting in power.
That is right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Chris.
Yeah, so God bless you, my brother.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank God for your life. Please keep it up.
Thank you so much.
Already all these things is what we know before now.
Thank you so much.
Oh, yeah, now God bless you. Thank you.
All right. That is Mr. Chris, coming from Anambra. So, as I was saying before, the governor of Zamfara State, Dauda, came to first of all, he went to TVC. For you people to know that this matter is not just a mere matter, it's a serious matter. He first went to TVC to report that, look at, this man is a bandit. The former governor is a bandit. He is still a minister. You people should ask him to resign. That was what this governor was saying all through. You people should ask the Minister of Defense under Tinubu to resign. Ask him to resign. He's a bandit. Now, another thing I'm not happy with Nigerians is because we keep quiet when we are supposed to talk, when we are supposed to act. We form that we are dumbs. When we are supposed to take action, we are sleeping. When we are supposed to sleep, we begin to take action. What sort of people are these? What kind of suffering and smiling are these? From the beginning of this video, I told you people that so many Nigerians are on the death row. Yes, I mean death row, but they don't know. Look at so many people that died yesterday from insurgency, from terrorism, all these things they call bandits. Look at what is going on from across the nation. It's so pathetic, it's so unfortunate, and I think it is time for us to arise and make a statement. Thank you so much. I really appreciate each and every one of you for your time, for joining me tonight in this broadcast. Please do well to join me tomorrow. I really appreciate, and God bless you. Have a nice